I'm done with the Sixers. I'm done with them. When the Embiid said I'm not going to do the back to backs, then Paul George, I'm done. I'm Nova Knicks. I'm off the bandwagon. I'm Nova Knicks.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and on today's Wind Up Wednesday edition, we're going to talk NBA in-season tournament as well as a lot of injuries. In segment 2, we're digging deep into college basketball, and they're talking about expanding the tournament, and it's going to happen sooner rather than later because they keep talking about it. And in segment 3, we'll do the women's game plus new coach in the WNBA. We want to flush that out. But first, let's go top 6 in the Eastern Conference. 1 is Cleveland, 2 Boston, 3 Orlando, 4 the Knicks, 5 Pacers, 6 Bulls. Outside looking in, Hawks, Nets, Heat, and Detroit. And I'm telling you right now, Cleveland's doing well in the in-season tournament. Orlando's doing well. The Knicks are doing well. The Hawks are doing well. And Detroit is also doing well in the in-season tournament. Some quick thoughts on the East with us today. One of our favorite coaches, Coach Johnson. Coach, one, you told us to watch the Knicks, and they're already in the hunt for that in-season tournament. Any thoughts on the East this week?
Well, the East is interesting to watch. I'm really enjoying a few of the teams in there, Cleveland being number 1. They are playing super. I like the fact that Mobley is a part of the offense. That makes them such a complete team because the guards are super. Again, people talk about the last time a team with 2 small guards won was when Detroit with Isaiah and Joe Dumars did it. They're playing super. I like the young talent on Detroit. I really like the young talent on Detroit. Adding Tobias Harris, I think, gives them a veteran who can talk them through things in the locker room, on the floor. But I like their young group. My only disappointment naturally in the East is where my Sixers are playing. It's sad because we went into the off season just full of high hopes, and right now we're playing terrible. Injuries. It's just not a good look. But I like the East. There are some good teams. Orlando was really playing well until their big kid got hurt. When he comes back, they'll be fine. Charlotte, even though the record doesn't show much yet, they're an improved team since last year, mainly because of coaching. But there's some good teams in there. I'm not sold on Indiana and the Hawks. I'm not sold on those two. Brooklyn, I'm not sold on them. But again, I think Cleveland is really going to give Boston something to battle for.
All right. And with us on his maiden voyage, my greatest coach and nemesis, and somebody I'm extremely close to. I'm so glad he's on the show, Damon Pigram. Damon, I've been working you for 2 years to be on. Thank you for coming on. Any thoughts on the East this week? I know you like Donovan Mitchell too. What are you thinking?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. So I'm honored to be a part of the show. I haven't watched any of Cleveland yet. I've seen the highlights, and I feel like the style is working well for them from what I see. And like Coach said too, making Mobley an actual a focus of their offense. I mean, Mitchell's a dog. I mean that is broken news. I get that, but I appreciate that story. As far as the rest of the East,
go ahead and say it. It's trash. Say it, Damon. You know you want to say it. It's trash.
I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. But so Coach, are you from Philly?
I'm from Philly, man. Born and raised.
I'm from South Jersey. So here we go. All right.
All right.
I'm from South Jersey. I'm done with the Sixers. I'm done with them. When the Embiid said I'm not going to do the back to backs, then Paul George, I'm done. I'm Nova Knicks. I'm off the bandwagon. I'm Nova Knicks. I'm mad they got rid of DiVincenzo, but if Cat is going to ball like I saw a highlight on ESPN, Cat had like 4 dunks. I watched the playoff series where he ain't dunked the ball not one time last year.
I'm in agreement with you. It's funny because Cat seems like a better fit in New York than he did in Minnesota.
Wouldn't have thought it. Would not have thought it.
He looks like a. I did not realize. I mean, listen, he's super player, but he's better than I thought watching him in New York.
Yeah.
I
All
mean, he done
right.
had a couple 40-point games.
Batting up frogs for snakes, as Coach Thompson would say. We're going to go to the Western Conference now. Number 1, OKC. Number 2, Golden State. 4 now. The Suns are 3. Denver's 4. Houston's 5. Lakers are 6. 4 now. And outside looking in, Memphis, the Sacramento Kings, the Clippers, and the Spurs. Also doing well in the in-season tournament, OKC, Golden State. Houston's doing well. As long as you keep him away from you people's wives, that guy can coach. The Lakers are doing great as well.
Wow.
Any thoughts, Damon? I'm still Keith, man. Coach Johnson, any thoughts on the West, man?
Well, I agree with you about my man in Houston. He definitely can coach. He's got those young guys' attention. They're playing well. The West is interesting because I don't think this is just a fly in the night right now with Golden State. They're playing super. They have depth. They're playing well. OKC, I think, is the toast of the West, especially when Hardenstein comes back. Chad is out right now. He's going to be out for about a couple months, my understanding, because of injury, but he just got a good team. I'm curious to see how the Lakers sustain everything because they're playing well right now. They're playing very well. I like the fact that Anthony Davis is taking the role of best player, leadership on that group. Memphis, I think they're gonna come along. I think they'll be in the top 8. But I'm not big on the Clippers right now. I'm not big on them. But the West is intriguing because there's a lot of great teams in the West.
All right, Damon, what are you thinking about the West, man?
I think it's way too early to call. There's just a lot of talent out there.
Yeah,
a lot of talent. Notice you said a lot of talent when you talk about the West.
Yeah. Versus but the injuries. I coming in, I thought like OKC would be kind of the team with them losing Chet, and we're only what 13, 14 games in.
Yes.
You got 70 something more, whatever it is. What teams can stay healthy? Can LeBron stay healthy? Can AD stay healthy?
And that's a great segue. Appreciate that. 82 games is a lot. And our story of the week is 82 games is a lot. It's November. These games are counting. The in-season tournament games are counting. And you've got Oklahoma City with Chad Holmgren hurt. You've got the Phoenix Suns with Kevin Durant hurt. You got the Dallas Mavericks with Kyrie hurt. You got the Golden State Warriors with DeAnthony Melton suffering an ACL sprain. So now Steph's got to play early minutes. And you've got the Spurs with Pop out. Oh, my goodness, your coach is out. So I'm going to go with you, Coach Johnson. 82 games is a lot. How are you feeling this time of year as a coach dealing with injuries? What do you think?
Well, I'm on the fence about 82 games being a lot because it's always been 82. It's always been 82. So in the past, it never seemed like it was that much then.
It's new generation of kid, Coach. You know that.
I know. The problem is the injuries. I mean, and it's stated that it's a lot of games because the star players are now the ones getting hurt.
The 65 game club, as we talk every week.
So with that said, I wouldn't want to see a change in 82. I do think 82 is fine. But like you said, if you got a huge lead, you got to sit guys. Having bench depth now means the world. Being able to get guys in who can just stay in the lead for you, play well, and you can rest guys. And I think that is where Golden State is playing well. They got a great unit. Now, listen, talking about my Sixers, how do we let Buddy Hield walk out the door? I mean, what he's doing in Golden State is unbelievable. And he's not doing nothing that he's never been capable of doing. He just, the stint with, a whole lot of guys had bad stints with the Sixers for whatever reason. Milton looked like he'd been freed from jail playing with Golden State.
All right. So, Damon, I trust you, Judge. You are a basketball aficionado, man. And you've got an 82-game season. You got your stars playing 65 games. The standings, nobody really pays attention to the NBA until Christmas, but these games are counting. What are you thinking as we are now in like games 15 through 20 in the season with all of these injuries already? You got these injuries.
Well, I'm a co-sign what Coach said. It's always been 82 games. So I don't know what these guys are doing differently. Where it's just I don't know what it is. Like even like Maxey pulling a hamstring. You know, I some of these injuries, like now Chad Holmgren's that I can't even say I've ever even heard of that injury before. It just sounds painful. Your pelvic, really? I mean, that's a freak accident and his frame and all that stuff. He's probably going to be susceptible to some of those things. But yeah, I'm curious what these guys are doing in the offseason.
Are they playing social media? What are you talking about?
Wait, are they playing too much or are they not playing enough?
I don't think they're playing too much. I'm not going to go that direction. I think the high school guys are playing too much, and in the off season, I'm not seeing a lot of the extra play that the previous gen. Nobody's walking into Rucker like Kobe. Nobody's doing that.
They're not doing the Drew League and all that stuff.
But all right.
And Coach, real quick. Steph Curry already had an early injury too.
Yes, he did.
I'm glad to see that he bounced back. But I mean, he could have easily been on that list of stars that are already missing games.
All right. So segment two, we're going to go to the college ranks. Talk about the men's game. We'll be right back on the Coaches Podcast. This is Dr. Keith Adams, president of the CKA Save Project, with a question for you. Are you passionate about supporting student athletes? If so, then become an official member of the CKA Save Project and make a difference today. With your membership, you'll be able to help us provide essential academic and athletic support to underserved communities nationwide. Join us in empowering student athletes to achieve their full potential, both on and off the field. Together, we can build a brighter future through education and sports. Visit ckasaveproject.org and choose your membership level now. $25 is a bronze level membership, $50 is a silver level membership, and $100 is a gold level membership. Be a part of the change. Become a member of the CKA Save Project today. Welcome back to the Coaches Podcast in segment 2. We are now at a point where every week we can tell you about the top 5 overall teams, and we're going to talk to you about mid-majors. And if you watch our show on a weekly basis, come time for March Madness, you're going to know who these people are. And yes, the OCP will be in San Antonio, Texas, and Robert and I will do something special. But let's look at the top 5. 1, Kansas. When you're that old, you should be number 1. Number 2 is Alabama, but next week they won't be because they lost. 3 is UConn. Slow and steady wins the race. 4 is Gonzaga. They may be a mid-major this year, but they are all major in every aspect. And 5 is Auburn, and I'm not overly enamored in Auburn. Again, you had to return a flight. That is not something you want to do. Teams to watch, though. Ohio State, St. John, shout out to Will Cotton, Kentucky, and Illinois. In terms of high majors, Coach Johnson, any thoughts this week on any high majors that have caught your eye?
I was very impressed with Kentucky the other night. Very impressed with how they played against Duke, their fight. The fact that he took that job with no players and where they are right now says a lot. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But, Kentucky is still a lot of kids' dream. So when those guys got phone calls, they was like, absolutely. But they played well. I like Duke, but I'm not there yet. I'm not. It's something for me that's missing. but I like the way.
Potassium is missing because they keep getting cramps.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. And it's just not flag; it's a few of them.
And you're the Duke Medical Center. All right, Peg. Anything this week with the high majors? Any team catch your eye?
Not yet. I caught a lot of the Kentucky. Sorry, the Kansas North Carolina game. That's probably the most high level game that I've watched. It's something about Kansas. I can't buy in. I just like, and especially if they're not at home too.
They're very old.
Yeah, I'm not feeling them. I do want to see Alabama. I do want to see them play. From what I've read, they're good. The style, their coach, I think he knows what he's doing. They run some good actions, some good stuff. So I definitely want to get more into it this week.
Top 5 mid-majors. Again, thank you, College Insider. Always fans and friends of the show. Number 1 mid-major, Grand Canyon University. Go Lopes. You know I'm a Lope alum 2 times, baby. Number 2, Princeton. 3, St. Mary's. 4, UC Irvine. And 5, San Francisco. A lot of West Coast stuff. Sorry, Will. They are playing good ball out there. Teams to watch. Norfolk State is a team to watch. Charleston's a team to watch. North Florida is a team to watch, and Louisiana Tech. Take a look at them. Again, fans, every week I'm just giving you nuggets just to kind of take a peek at. So when we get to March, you're not surprised. Coach Johnson, any mid-majors catch your eye? Any under-the-radar team? You're like, man, I'm liking what I see.
I'm loving what Norfolk State is doing. They are really doing a great job with that program.
Did they just beat Hampton? Oh, sorry.
Jones is doing a wonderful job. They're winning. They're getting kids. But, again, I go back to the days of Mike Bernard and so forth and so forth. I love what Norfolk is doing. I really do.
Peg, any mid-majors catch your eye? Anybody you wanting to look at this year? Anything?
Haven't seen Norfolk State play yet. My heart is like, you know what, I want to see them do well, but my mind can't co-sign that.
I hear you, Coach. I hear you.
Actually, one of my former players plays at Southern Miss, but I was watching Southern Miss play UAB, and UAB, they put on something. They put on a show. I mean, it reminded me of Nolan Richardson, 40 Minutes of Hell. They were pressing, trapping, run, 3, dunk, all that stuff. I mean, they put on a show, especially in the first 10 minutes of the game. So I'm curious to see them. And is that something that they can maintain, or was that just kind of a one-game thing against a team that they were a little bit better than?
All right. So our story of the week, Charlie Baker was on the news outlets making the rounds, and the question of the NCAA tournament expansion that always comes up came up, and he said, hey, he's looking at 72, possibly 76 moving forward in the future. Right now, the tournament is 68. So if you move in a couple more of the play-in games, you can easily get to 72 or 76. Damon, I'm going to start with you. Should the tourney expand? And if so, what's the number you like?
At what point does it stop? 64, 68, 72? I mean, pretty soon it's going to be like Montgomery County Public Schools, where everybody gets in. I mean, at what point have you earned the right to be in a tournament?
Right.
Not to be an old man, but I'm fine with 68. Whenever it's all said and done, there's always going to be 2 teams or 3 teams or whatever that are on the fringe that didn't get in, and they'll be upset. I'm fine with 68.
Okay, Coach Johnson, you have been on the bubbles and so forth. You know what you speak of. Should the tournament expand, sir?
No, I like 68 as well. There's something about that number that sticks. Excuse me. 68 is good. Again, everyone's going into the season knowing what they got to do. I think we stick with 68.
Give me play-ins for each bracket level, and I'm good with that, because you can go from the first 4 to the final 4. So I'm good with 72 or 76, but I wouldn't want to go any further than that. The 90 some odd people and whatever, because if you do the breakdown, math folks, only like 19 or 20% of the teams that are playing get in. It's like 300 some odd teams, and only 68 make it. So I'll go 72 or 76, but no more than that, because again, we are talking about bum teams from power conferences that aren't any blasted good anyway, to quote Hank. All right, so in segment 3, folks, we're going to go to the women's game, and we're going to also talk about a new hire in the WNBA. Is this a trend? We'll find out. We'll be right back on the Odd Coaches Podcast. This is Dr. Keith Adams, president of the CKA Save Project and author of Finding the Balance, My Personal Journey to Academic and Athletic Success. This book is your key to unlocking the secrets of being a successful student athlete. Drawing from my 30-year career as a teacher and coach, this instructional guide offers a unique perspective on achieving success in both academics and athletics. With over 15 personal stories and insightful anecdotes, Finding the Balance is a must-read for student athletes, parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators. Visit www.ckasaveproject.org to get your copy and start finding the balance today. Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast in segment 3. Ladies first. All right, women's basketball, top overall, South Carolina, UConn, USC, Texas, and Notre Dame, all big brands. I'm telling you, it's basketball in the 80s. Teams to watch, UCLA, LSU, Iowa State, Oklahoma, and NC State. Again, even the teams to watch for us, all big brands. Coach Johnson, any women's team from the high majors catch your interest this week, or that you're looking forward to seeing this upcoming week?
Well, I'm always anxious to see South Carolina play. I love their brand of play. I love the way they play. They play inside out. She got guards. UConn is very good. The freshman Sarah Strong is a heck of an addition. The top tier women teams are there because they can get the best players.
Yeah.
And it is fun to watch.
Damon, girl dad extraordinaire, any top teams catch your interest that you're like, I got to put one of their games on my schedule?
I do like the fact that, like, once again, it's about brands.
It's brands.
It's brands. And like Coach, I'm always going to be South Carolina because Dawn Staley's from Philly.
Yes,
and I'm always going. Whatever. Wherever she goes, that's my squad.
I agree.
And outside of that, their style of play is great. Now Gino Oriana, he's a Philly guy or Philly suburb guy as well.
Yep.
And that young lady, Paige Busher.
Beckers.
Paige
Beckers.
Paige Becker.
Yo, she's nice. She can do it all. So I'm curious to see what LSU does, but right now I'm South Carolina and close second UConn.
All right. So fans, just like the men's, we're going to give you names of women's teams to watch. It will be hard for them to break through, but let's give you some names of some mid-majors to watch, courtesy of College Insider. Shout out to Joe and Angela and the folks at College Insider. 1, Gonzaga. 2, Ball State. 3, Middle Tennessee State. 4, South Dakota State. Put them on your list. Check out ESPN Plus, but y'all need to watch South Dakota State. They've been a great program the last 3 or 4 years. And 5, Drake, teams to watch. Norfolk State women, watch them. Fairfield, Texas A&M Corpus Christi, Portland, and Grambling. But the story of the week, the American Dream, we're all coaches here. And the Atlanta Dream managed to do something that kind of paused me. They got Carl Zamesco away from Florida Gulf Coast. So Zamesco was announced as a new coach at the Dream. He built Florida Gulf Coast into a regular tournament team, and he went 6 11 and 112 and had an 84% winning percentage in his 23 years at the school. So can he coach? Yes. I'm surprised that he got the opportunity. He plays a three and layup style of play. And that will be interesting in the WNBA with a lot of younger players coming in and, quite frankly, a lot of older players going out. Damon, I'm going to start with you because we talk philosophy all the time. One of the things I like just chopping it up with you. Philosophically speaking, he's an all three and a layup guy. Do you think that'll work large term in the WNBA with coaches like Becky Hammonds and those cats out there? What do you think? Can that style work in the WNBA?
Is his GM going to get him the players that he needs to run that system? That's the thing to start off. It's not college. He's not out there recruiting, or him and his GM on the same page. And that's a process. And I mean, maybe they can get there. It's going to take drafting, trading. That could take 2 or 3 years. Are they going to be patient enough for him to implement a system that he may not have the personnel for? Or if he wants to keep his job, is he going to go away from that system and then have a new system for what personnel he already has? That's the question for me.
And I love that you mentioned the patience piece, because unlike years past with the WNBA, you got eyeballs on the product, and over half the teams got new coaches because you want these eyeballs on the product, and now they're paying attention more than when Bill Laimbeer and Michael Cooper were coaching. All right. Coach Johnson, can that work large scale, in your opinion, the WNBA to go three and layup? Well, no mid-range shots, baby.
Coach said it right. They got to get the players first, because that is a commitment to a style of play that you definitely need players that can do that. Not just do that, but buy into it. Do I think it can work? Yes. I do think it can work, but again, let's see what they do in terms of getting him the players to make it work.
All right. So fans, with that, it's been good, man. I'm Dr. Keith Adams. Thanking on behalf of my Cavalcade of Stars, thanking you for listening and watching the Odd Coaches podcast. And we will see you on the sidelines. Until next time, take care.
Thank you.
The Odd Coaches podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress, to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org. We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach Franchize. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches podcast.